Normally I do my news recaps on Mondays. And today is not Monday. Today is Saturday. But it's because we had a little bit of breaking news, and then I woke up to some fun Google alerts about myself that I thought I would just address on the show today. So obviously, we know Jax and Brittany have now announced that they are not returning to Vanderpump Rules. I have now learned that Vanderpump Rules has apparently been totally scrapped altogether, and the decision was made earlier this week. And this is according to Tamara Tattles. She has a whole updates and blog about it on her website, Tamara Tattles. So definitely go and check that out. But so as we learned earlier in the year, so what Tamara's claiming is that there was a Zoom call that happened on Tuesday where Evolution and Bravo made the decision to just table the show and not film any new episodes and not pick it up for any future seasons. At least as of the moment, they're not working with any of the current cast. They have decided to not renew any of their contracts. And so as we learned when Stassi and Kristen were fired earlier, they have a 6-month hold, or like a 6-month I think it's called a talent option, where they can have their contracts renewed, where Bravo decides whether or not they want to move forward with the actual talent. And so apparently Bravo's like, nope, we're done. We don't want anything to do with any of you guys. So originally when Jax and Brittany posted on their Instagram their announcement that they were leaving the show, or that they weren't going to be part of the show at all moving forward, I was like, okay, they probably got fired. And then I expected Lala to be announcing her exit from the show next. And then I was like, well, then who's actually left? It's Sheena, Ariana, and Tom Schwartz, Katie Maloney, Danica's out, Max is out, Brett's out. So the only newbies that would come back were probably Charlie. Danica, because of all of the domestic violence stuff that came out, and then her ex that released all the text messages and photos that she was beating him, allegedly. These are all things that he's claiming that she's done to him. She's abusive physically and verbally. So that, I think, at this point, I think it's just all kind of damaged goods. I would assume, like, I wouldn't think Sheena... I would think the best way to move forward for the show would be for them to launch like a Tom spinoff, because then we still have the OG cast of Tom Sandoval, Katie Maloney. We have Ariana and Tom Schwartz, who came in not in the first season, but, you know, they were side characters that eventually were picked up full time. And I think that's kind of the best approach for them to do, just a Tom spinoff at this point, because then the only other one that would be left on the cast would be Sheena. And I think at this point, like, Sheena does not need to be doing Vanderpump Rules anymore. Like, they really just, I don't even think she should be working with Bravo moving forward, because they just like ripped her apart in the edits every season, that it's like, no, she doesn't need to be doing this anymore. She can be moving on to like a new project. You know, her and Brock, they have a great YouTube channel. I think it's time for her to like focus on what her next career chapter is going to be, because at this point, like, she does not need Vanderpump Rules, especially after how badly they've dragged her in some of those edits. They were rough. But so, as I said, Tamara Tattle reported that there was a Zoom call on Tuesday where the decision was made to just totally table the project altogether. So I don't know if there will be like a Vanderpump Rules reboot in the future. She also reported that there was I guess Jax and Brittany were trying to shop a spinoff with Bravo, and Bravo was like, yeah, no thanks. Everybody, like, all of Twitter wanted to get you fired from Vanderpump Rules. I think the last thing we want to do is get you a spinoff. And like I said, I think the only one that has potential for a Bravo spinoff would be the Toms. We also just saw them on Watch What Happens Live for the Friendsgiving episode. So I'm assuming Bravo and Andy still like the Toms, and they would likely still want to keep them around and still do it, you know, still do something. And they're fun to watch, that I think we could get a fun reality show out of it. You know, something like a Don't Be Tardy, where it's not going to be high drama, but there may be a little bit of drama. We'll still get like Ariana and Katie and maybe cameos from some of the other cast members, but I think that's probably their best option moving forward. I don't know what Jax and Brittany are going to be doing now, because it's like, at this point, y'all are done, you know? But yeah, and apparently LVP, according to Tamara Tattles, LVP is also she's still under a talent and executive EP deal until 2022. So I don't know what she's going to do, because she has Vanderpump Dogs, which we now see is coming to Peacock. And then, but I mean, she's not coming back to Housewives, and she's Clearly not. Well, I mean, this may be an opportunity for them to launch a Vanderpump Rules reboot with a new cast, which some people online on Instagram and stuff are like, yeah, that would be so cool. Like, let's do it. Keep Lisa Vanderpump around and just bring in, a series of new staffers. I honestly think that they can try that. I don't think it'll be as successful as the original, though. I think that concept has just already been done and played out, and it may do well. I don't think it'll do well as the original, though. That's all I have to say about that. Yeah, so Vanderpump Rules is officially DEAD dead. Gone, donezo. Witches of WeHo, dunzos completely. I don't know how. I think the last season that we got, season 8, ended nice enough. That finale, I think, what felt kind of final. That I wouldn't be sad if that's how we decided to end the series altogether. It's not a terror. It's not a bad. There wasn't like a major cliffhanger. It didn't really end badly. I think it was a good series finale as a viewer, as a fan of the show. The last season altogether wasn't great, but a lot of storylines were tied up. And I think I've said that a few times on the show before. But yeah, so now Jax and Brittany can go and like launch Mama's beer cheese in Kentucky and have just like, a nice little barefoot and pregnant life out in the Tucky. Go have some fried chicken on the grill in the barn and just like live that life. Hopefully none of that was offensive. I hope I don't get canceled for saying that in like 5 years. But yeah, I think everyone's over Jax and Brittany. Like Jax and his bunions are gross and they just need to like go and get some surgery. And like, I think Kentucky is probably the best place for him. I mean, if anything, maybe Jax can like call up to people in Florida and see if they're still willing to offer him that like social media position. Cause like he could get that life. I actually don't think. With the number of people he's blocked on Twitter, I don't think many people are interested in his content anymore. That has to like hurt your algorithm, right? Whatever.